Testing. And good morning. It's so quiet here. At this bed and breakfast in Jasper, Georgia. I'm sitting here right now just in one of these Adirondack chairs in the backyard of this. This is a working cattle and horse ranch where we're staying. It's run by this wife, this man and woman. I guess they're husband and wife. It's nice. The only drawback, I guess, is that it's right next to the highway. But that's not bad. It's kind of like you've got civilization on one side, and then the other side is just straight pasture and rolling mountains and everything that you can see out of. So, and we're staying in the house. There's like 2 bedrooms in the house. And it's very strange to think that the people who are staying in the bedroom next to us, they booked their room at the exact same time that I did because I wanted their room, because it had a king size bed in it, and there's 2 of us, and the next room over, the one that we ended up staying in, has 2 twin beds that are on separate sides of a nightstand, kind of like I Love Lucy, like in the first couple of seasons where they both they slept in separate beds. I know they all slept in separate beds back in the 1940s and 50s when all those shows were made. I think there was like an old rule where you never could portray a couple in bed together, so one of them always had to have a foot on the floor or something like that. But yeah, back to it. So yeah, the people who are staying in the room next to us booked at the same time online that I did. And it's very strange to think that. And I got a call from this place, from the woman who runs it, a couple of hours after I booked, saying that since they had booked on the place's actual website and I booked through a reservation service, that they had to have preference. So, but very odd. I mean, I don't really mind it. I mean, it's a great place, and we were so tired last night that we didn't really care what bed we went into. We had a very long day of driving, and it's only about 3.5 hours here. What makes the trip kind of so long is the fact that it's you have to get off of the you only spend about an hour on the interstate, and then everything else is going through back roads and through the country and taking different turns. And yeah, I mean, I've never had a trip where I had to take so many different turns to get where I was going. And also we hit long patches where we didn't have any service, so the GPS wouldn't update, and it was kind of tough at times. But nevertheless, yeah, I actually considered bringing a physical map, like an atlas, yesterday. I was looking at one. I was over at my parents' house, and my mom had one. She offered to let me borrow it. I said, no, Mom. We're in the 21st century. We have GPSs now. And of course, it just don't account for the fact that if you're in a place with no service, unless you print out the map ahead of time or you have it saved to your phone, they can sometimes be faulty. But we made it, nevertheless. We would go through about, 30 minutes of just isolation, 2-lane highways, and then come out on the other end where there was a freeway, plenty of service, and everything just looked the same. All the franchises were repeating. There were, Jack's Restaurants, Hardee's, McDonald's, and everything just started to look like home again, And of course, I don't know. I guess when you start seeing all these restaurants, together again, and you see like Best Buys and all that, you know that you have service. So, um, I have a small mission this morning when we leave here, though. When we check out, um, there's a street right down the road called Mockingbird Lane, and I told Jessica that I just have to drive down it for just one quick second just to see if there's a 1313 by chance. And she had no idea what I was talking about because she never watched the Munsters. But growing up, that was one of my favorite shows to watch in syndication. So I have to see if there's a 1313 Mockingbird Lane. It's just down the road. It won't take like 2 minutes to do, but it's kind of cold today. It's there's definitely some breeze blowing across the prairie. um, it was we came out here last night when we got home from going around the town to Jasper, and had to wear like jackets. Very strange for a July 4th holiday, but I guess what's going on is that there's two hurricanes. There's like one in the Gulf, or there's like a tropical storm in the Gulf, and there's a hurricane blowing around the eastern seaboard, and I guess all those winds are coming in and converging and making this unseasonably chilly weekend happen. It's still hot, in the middle of the day, but we're going camping tonight, and it's supposed to be in the 60s. It's going to be just great camping weather, kind of like the kind that you get in late September, and all of October. Just this perfectly, it's not like hot, it's not cold, it's just, I don't know, it's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope it doesn't get like too cold, because I didn't pack a sweater. I have a rain jacket, But I was saying I'm actually sitting next to the cowboy cabin, which is the house that we're staying in was built in the 1880s, and the cowboy cabin, which I almost rented out, was built around the same time. And it's just this very primitive. It's not wired for electricity or anything. It's two Coleman lanterns that you basically have for light. No place to charge a cell phone or anything, and it's got this wood burning chimney in it. And it just it looks like the roof. It's definitely gone through some restorations over the years. The roof is tin, which is probably not what it originally was. But yeah, it sits right next to the stables, and it just looks out over the meadow. But I didn't book it because I know we're going camping tonight, and tonight we just kind of wanted to stay in air conditioning, and we didn't really want to deal with that much primitiveness. Is that how primitivity? I don't know. Until tonight. But we peeked in it last night when we were walking around, and I think there's actually two people staying in it. But it looks really cool. It's it's just this very small one-room cabin with a twin bed in it. A little table, the fireplace, of course, and they actually take pets. We were going to stay in it if we decided to bring our dog along, but we ultimately decided against it just because we, we're going to go to a state park today, and we didn't really want to be restricted by having the dog around because she's not very spry. She's not one of these dogs that can just kind of run, and it doesn't phase her. Poor Anna. So yeah, but it's not nice. It's very nice. It's sitting out here just having my coffee, and in about an hour they're going to serve breakfast. my breakfast, it's being made. I came down this morning and there was this woman kind of scrambling around the kitchen trying to prepare breakfast for about 9 or 10 people who were staying here. I think there's us, there's another kind of younger couple, and there's a family staying here. I think that's the owner of the place walking around in a big cowboy hat. Kind of plaid shirt. I think that's him. That was the only bad review that this place got when we were looking at it, is that the owner seems to be kind of drunk all the time. I don't know. Maybe it was that this week. He seems to be walking fairly well this morning. I'm not sure. But yeah, I came down this morning and this woman, it's not the woman who owns the place along with that guy over there, her husband. It's somebody I think they've hired to kind of cook breakfast and do all of the, busy work around the bed and breakfast while they run the ranch. So, but she was pretty nice yesterday. Her name's Rita. This morning she didn't really have a lot of time to be cordial because she was running around so much. I came down and asked her, there was some coffee brewing, and I asked her if that coffee was up for grabs, and she kind of gave me a little bit of an annoyed, besmirked yeah, it's almost done. And I just kind of, okay, so I went into the living room and just waited around for a few minutes and waited for the brewing sound, the drip in the coffee, to stop, for it to stop making that kind of sound. And then I went in there and she said, coffee's ready. And as she was kind of preparing the coffee, and I was like, oh, I just take it black, thanks. I was just kind of trying to make conversation so there wasn't dead air, and I was like, so do you live here also? And she's like, me? I'm like, yeah. Do you just live on the grounds or anything? And she's like, oh, no, honey, I live an hour away. And I was like, oh, boy. She's like, yeah, I'm only here early because somebody didn't, I'm not going to say who, but somebody didn't want to wake up and make breakfast for you this morning. So, like, there's only 2 other people who she could be talking about. So, the owners. So that was nice to kind of get into that little bit of 74 ranch, gossip spreading. Looking backstage, It's very strange. I've never stayed at a bed and breakfast before. These little places that are almost always privately run. All of the bed and breakfast we looked at online were all privately run by people and by families and couples and everything. It's these people that it's on land where they run other businesses, and this is just another way of making income, I guess. And yeah, it's just very strange to stay in a place that is not run by like a company or a corporation or anything, and they have to do all the work themselves, run the business while they run their other business. Like here, the bed and breakfast is only a small piece of what they do. I mean, they have to run, cows and horses and everything. So, and I'm sure it's tough. I mean, I give that to them, but for the job, I mean, they do a pretty good job. Last night we got in, and we didn't really spend a whole lot of time last night here. We were in, and they offered to, they had some kind of a 4th of July barbecue going for $10 a piece, and we decided not to do that just because we didn't want to eat the meat. But at the same time, it's really funny. All of the meat that they were serving was actually raised on this ranch, which to me is actually, maybe that's a little bit more ethical than eating processed Walmart meat. I'm not sure. To eat meat on the same ranch, on the same piece of land where it was killed, may have a little bit more honor to it. I'm not sure. So, but yeah, last night we got in and we walked around the land. We walked past the cattle and horses. We walked down to the fishing pond, and we really walked to the end of the land. And it was a nice long, like 20-minute walk. And then we got back and decided to go into town to find something to eat, thinking that this may be like a very quaint kind of small town with a lot of small private businesses, and just like this one, run by families, and nice restaurants where you could get, a nice bean burrito, and I don't know, maybe go somewhere and get a slice of pie and a cup of coffee, but there's really no place like that. This is just kind of one of those towns that's very has all these practical businesses, has the same chain restaurants as everyone else, and so it was kind of disappointing in a way, but at the same time, when I was about to turn around and head back and go to our only really decent restaurant option that was open at 9 o'clock at night on, July 4th, which was Little Caesars, Jessica asked me to keep driving a couple of miles more down the road, and we ended up finding this carnival that was being put on for the weekend, one of these just traveling carnivals. We saw these rides kind of over the hills. We saw the Ferris wheel, and that kind of thing. It's like on a roller coaster car, but it's not a roller coaster. All it does is just go in a loop over and over again, called the Ring of Fire. So, and we decided, of course, we were going to stop and do that. That was really the only decent thing to do in the town last night, so late. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, I have enough.
Could enter to win that John Deere.
You want to enter that John Deere tractor and drive that home down the interstate? Let's look at it.
Golf cart.
Oh yeah, it is a golf cart. Yeah, sorry. That's nice though. We could use that at work, actually. We just broke one of our golf carts because we kept on taking it up a really rocky road.
Red Mountain Park.
Yeah, I know. I know. What does it say over here? Yeah, you gotta like enter a raffle.
Oh.
It's probably like $1. I don't have any money.
I don't have $1.
I don't have any cash.
I don't.
Where are we right now?
I don't know.
No, I'm asking you, like, the fair. Like, not what part of the fair. But...
Oh, I don't.
Well, I just told people what it is.
Jasper. What is this? This is called something park.
All right. We're in Jasper, Georgia. It's July 4th.
What is it? What park is this?
It's July 4th.
No, I know it's July 4th.
It's, I think Memorial Park. Something like that. They're having some kind of a July 4th expo.
Right. I think it's like Lincoln Memorial Park.
Lincoln Memorial Park. Okay, there you go. All right. And there's an Italian ice booth.
Ooh.
Do you like Italian ice?
Every now and then.
Yeah. Oh, there's one of those things where you strap them in. It's like a trampoline bungee jump type deal.
Yeah.
Where just the kids look kind of abused for 5 seconds for fun. Where you can buy those poppers. Oh, thank you. He just threw one right at you. You're going to stand for that?
Well, I mean, what am I going to do? He's like 2 years old.
Yeah. You should do to him what his parents don't.
Hey, kid.
There's an adult.
I'm gonna pick you up and see if you explode on the ground.
Well, he's not an adult, actually. It's like a 14-year-old kid being strapped to that harness bungee jump type trampoline thing.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say that it has to be for,
Do you want to do that?
No, thank you.
The weird thing is, I never see anyone over 6 being strapped to one of those things. There's live music over there.
Yeah.
There's security. Run out of the trailer. Sheriff Mobile Command.
Ooh,
What?
lemonade.
I know, they take cash, I think. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm assuming everything here takes cash, right? Because
Yeah.
we have to go to the ATM.
Yes.
So, all right.
I think I may actually have some cash in my
Yeah,
purse.
thanks.
Let me
Do you?
see. Yeah. Oh my god. I love you. Let me see.
Yeah. That's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Oh. That was nice.
I have $11 in diamond cash.
This kid just threw a cup at the trash can and it didn't go in, and he just didn't bend down to get it back up. Model behavior. You're gonna get some lemonade?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're at this. We're staying right down the road outside of Jasper, Georgia, at a bed and breakfast, and decided to come down the road here and just came upon all these cool rides, a Ferris wheel, one of those rocking back and forth starships that they have at these fairs. This is crazy. I was just talking about a place like this on my show a couple weeks ago. Oak Mountain Middle School used to have one of these in their parking lot every year in the spring, and now they're having one here. Just very randomly, one of these expos out in the middle of the country in Georgia somewhere. There's one of those they put everybody on this platform in seats, and it just rolls up and down like a Ferris wheel, but it's kind of a lot more aggressive. And of course there's the Ferris wheel. We've got to have cash for everything. Jessica has a few dollars, but we may have to go to the ATM. We're trying to decide if it's worth it. There's a guy dressed up as Batman over there, but his cape is an American flag. Very patriotic. What are you looking at? Sorry, that was Jessica giving me a stop recording. Look, Batman's dancing around with that guy. Yeah, that's great. Now those teenagers over there on the trampoline bungee jump are kind of doing some tricks, flipping up and down. Did you get yourself a lemonade? Yeah.
It's huge.
I know, it is a big, bulging cup of lemonade here. I don't know if bulging really applies in this situation. I am hungry, though.
You are. Okay.
That's how this whole thing started. We were trying to find a place to eat.
I know.
All we were seeing are fast food joints.
Ribbon French fries.
I know. So we went from having to find...
We'd go and be are your corn dogs vegan?
Oh, great. Sweet Home Alabama. We're not in Alabama anymore. We're not supposed to hear this song.
I know. We're not. I swear to God, you can't go on vacation and not hear Sweet Home Alabama.
At least not in the
everywhere.
South.
No. Everywhere I've gone, every time I go to New York, I hear this fucking song.
They're supposed to play Georgia on My Mind.
What?
Georgia on My Mind. Why don't they play that song?
Man,
Oh, because it doesn't have a guitar solo. That's right.
you know why. 'Cause it's
Alright,
written by a...
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is Lynn Memorial Park.
Yeah. What?
Lynn?
Lynn?
I think so.
So this is kind of a weird site, though. Like,
I lied again.
Okay.
Lee Newton Memorial Park.
Lee Newton. Okay, now that we know where we are. See, the people, though, they didn't go crazy at the opening guitar riff of this song like they do in Alabama. You can't even hear, like, the first, I don't know, like, first 5 through 25 seconds of this song because people are too busy flipping their shit. And here, everybody just kind of seems to be, like, milling around, not really excited about it. They're like, okay, whatever.
I know. No one's from Alabama here.
Yeah.
There is a gentleman who is dancing.
I know, that's what I was about to comment on. This is kind of an interesting sight. The band is up there playing, and then there's just this one random guy up there smoking a cigarette and doing the chicken dance.
Long golf shorts.
I know, with
his
I'm guessing those are his grandkids doing like Bee Gees disco moves. And are they part of the band? I don't know. It's cool. Did you see the water tower over here? It looks like a Six Flags prop at like the mine train, but that's kind of neat. Gonna take a picture of me. The Pickens County Sheriff. I guess this is Pickens County we're in. Do you want a big popcorn cone?
Do I want what?
I don't know. I thought that all that big bag of popcorn was on a cone, like ice cream.
I think that's kettle corn, maybe.
Oh, is it kettle corn?
Yeah.
Well, I know. Aren't popcorn and kettle corn one and the same?
Well, I guess technical. Well, yeah. They're just made differently.
Well, yeah, kettle corn's made in the kettle. Popcorn's made in the popper.
Oh, they have Coke or root beer floats.
Coke or root beer float, $5. Oh, look at that. They're playing cornhole. Did you ever play that? It's kind of like a big tailgating game now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Deep fried Oreos. Everything here is fried. This is insane. So what did you decide about the rides? Did you want to ride? I really don't know if I trust that thing, that the coaster that just goes in a loop over and over again. That seems kind of...
Well, we're excluded from that one since I'm wearing a skirt, so...
I don't get your meaning.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to bless America with my hoo-hoo.
I have to bleep that out. I do kind of want to ride the Ferris wheel. I think that'll be kind of cool. What do you think about the Ferris wheel?
Because I've been watching Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Carnival.
Uh-huh.
So wait, it scared you from riding the Ferris wheel, or?
Well, it should, but it just made me want to ride the Ferris wheel even more.
Yeah.
All right. Barbecue sandwich. French fries.
Deep fried Oreos. Red velvet. There must be like all these vendors are competing to sell you deep fried Oreos. I've never heard of those before.
Oh, God.
I've literally never heard of a deep fried Oreo before.
I've heard of it. Well, at the Wisconsin State Fair, like, it was big news that they were just, like, deep frying everything that could possibly be deep fried. But that was back in, like, 2007.
Remember that show, Andy Richter Controls the Universe, where he works at an advertising agency or something?
I know what you're talking about, but I never got to see that show.
Well, yeah, there was an episode where they had to write copy for a new fryer, and they all started frying everything in the office, and they were like deep frying pencils and eating them.
There was this guy who was doing the sound experiment that was having people send in sounds from all over the country, just sort of random things.
Yeah.
I think I shared this with you. Anyway, he was on NPR talking about this, and he deep fried his microphone just to see what it would sound like.
Like while it was recording?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like he managed to get like a couple of seconds of the sound of it deep frying. No, I think that would count.
These kids were trouble. We just walked by.
The Tufts.
I know.
Tufts.
Mini donuts. All the food here just looks like...
Well, it's Carnival food.
Well, I know it is, but it's just like... You feel like a slug looking at it. I can't imagine what happens after it, goes into your intestines and...
There's a good chance you're going to puke it up on one of the rides.
Probably. You should reenact that scene from The Sandlot. Get some chaw. Go on that ride over there where it just spins you around. That's like the only job of the ride is just to get you like sick. There's one of those music expresses. But they're not playing like Amadeus or whatever. It's one of the, it's the carnival trope, the music express, where you get on and just like, you get in a car and it takes you around a big revolving wheel. Oh yeah, Dixie Outfitters. Is there any ride that you want to ride?
Ferris wheel.
Huh? Oh, you do want to ride the Ferris wheel. Okay. It looks like the safest one.
Yeah. Well, as long as we don't do any of the other rides that go in like circles.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like high.
Yeah, sure. Oh, is that a blood mobile? Give blood?
A what?
A blood mobile?
I can't tell. I may be a first aid track.
Approaching the Music Express.
I just burped. I hope your microphone didn't.
No, I didn't hear it. What?
Over there. Through there.
Huh? It's like a pavilion.
Oh, thanks, baby. Hey, a Flying Dutchman.
Oh boy.
This is like the ride in, is it Starship? The ride that's in that Michelle Williams, Seth Rogen.
It's something like that. Yeah, the Take This Waltz.
Yeah.
But in that movie, you're like she was in a car. It's kind of like a teacups ride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's like the best scene in that movie, though.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. Take us to ride that.
You want to ride that? The Himalaya?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, what is the Starship ride? It looks like you just walk into this big, cone and it just spins you around and around. Huh?
One of these rides before. The one where it stands up and it just spins you around.
Well, yeah, no, that's actually a couple of weeks ago on the show. I was actually talking about this ride because there was an incident I remember from middle school. The fair that we had at my middle school had one of these rides, and this friend of mine tried to spit at someone across from him, and the spit came back and just clobbered him in the face. His name was Bucky.
So you could try to spit on people.
Yeah, I know, of course. But it never works because gravity is against you. The Sea Ray. Oh no, yeah, the I used to call that, I don't know, it's always called something different, but I think the first one I rode was called the Windbreaker. Yeah. The Sizzler is what it's called here. It's like that's the.
And then they go higher.
Yeah. No, they don't go up higher. I don't think they just stay there. They stay grounded.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's part of like.
Oh, do they? It's on hydraulics.
Yeah, it's on a hydraulic.
Let's see. I don't think it does. I think it just stays stationary. Let's see if the spinning Windbreaker Sizzler teacups type ride rises up. Oh, look at that. There's an animal to take a picture with. It's like a wolf.
That is the indoor one. That's
Huh?
gotta be like.
What is it?
Is that well, it's an indoor ride.
Yeah, I know, and it just spins around a lot. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think it lifts up. I do like how there's just a on-off switch down there. I know. It's really that simple. Yeah, no, this is a ride that the first time I rode it was at Lake Winnepesaukah in Tennessee. And Melissa and I, my Aunt Kay took us to the fair, and we rode this thing over and over and over again. Yeah. And eventually it made Melissa sick. Yeah, it did.
Well, here's the thing. So if we did the 25 for 25.
Yeah.
It's 6 tickets total for us to ride the Ferris wheel.
Okay.
6 tickets total to ride this, so that's 12.
Yeah.
If we wanted to do the indoor kid ride, that would be another 8 tickets.
8 tickets, yeah.
So we would then have like 5 tickets left. So that would be 3 rides.
Yeah, no, for $25.
Yeah.
Is it worth it, do you think?
I don't know. I mean,
I really kind of just want to ride the Ferris wheel, quite
I know, me
honestly,
too.
because I want to eat something too, and I don't know.
Well, I have $5 cash.
We need $1 extra for the Ferris
No,
wheel.
I actually have $6 cash. Well, it's.
I can just go to.
Tickets aren't $1 a piece. They
Oh
are.
yeah, that's right.
$1.25 a piece
Yeah.
or something. I mean, it would be useful to get cash out of the ATM because then,
Yeah.
like, if we run into any other situation where we need cash.
Yeah, of course. I should have gotten cash before I left Birmingham. That's so stupid because there's no Regions banks over here.
I was stupid too because I didn't even think about grabbing money out of the Paradise Falls jar.
So stupid. Surf Shack. What's that?
Okay, wait, I want to see what's going on in there.
Yeah, this is just one of those rides where you get in, you strap in, and it just kind of takes you round and round. And
Oh, that looks like fun.
yeah, 4 tickets. That's something you want to do.
I don't know. It looks like a spaceship.
It does, because it's called the Starship 2000. We're still using 2000, which means that this ride is probably about 15 years old.
I like how Carney rides have not updated themselves since the 1960s. Like they've just looked exactly.
Well, I wouldn't say 60s. I would say maybe early 90s.
90s. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I bet this used to be like
Yeah.
Starship 1999, and then they changed the numbers.
Well, everything was 2000 back in the mid to late 90s. Remember Conan O'Brien used to do in the year 2000.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's go get some tickets and yeah. Oh, okay, there's the teacups. Yeah. These don't look like any grand a spectacle as you might find in
Ride
Disney
the bears
World.
that go less than a mile an hour there. The big climb into the teddy bear's tummy.
I'm really impressed though by this little carnival in this small town. This is really cool. Oh, sorry. Need to pay attention. I was recording and walking. We can go get some tickets. All right. was a kind of a staple of the carnival that we just passed.
Which was?
The reluctant, angry dad carrying around all the tacky crap that the kids have won, or that he won for the kids.
Yeah.
I love how there's like a plastic inflatable hammer over there that just says hammered on the side. It's a great thing to give your kid.
Surf shack.
Yeah. Great for surf. Yeah. On top of the Ferris wheel.
See all of Jasper from up here.
We can. It's pretty bare.
Yeah.
We can see the carnival.
Yeah.
It's twilight.
What?
It's twilight. It's like getting dark.
God. Yeah. It's a good time to ride the carnival. I mean, ride the carnival. Ride the Ferris wheel.
Let's ride the whole carnival now. I don't like that creaking sound. Like that scene in 1941 where the Ferris wheel rolls off into the ocean. What?
Face painting.
No. Uh-oh, are we stopping at the top? Oh, look at this. Wow. Oh my god. It's really creepy. We're high up there. We're at the highest point in the fair right now. Oh, sorry.
I can't really. But
Take
here's
our
the
picture
problem,
taken.
Is that I keep missing me. That's okay.
Spending this wonderful moment trying to document it. What's the matter with us?
Well, I'm also making sure I haven't missed my text.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're in the middle of a crisis right now.
So what do you do during a crisis? You ride the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, no, it's kind of relaxing, I guess. Yeah. It's not a vacation unless something goes wrong.
That's true. And if we knock it out in the first night, and then maybe that means the rest is going to be fantastic.
Or maybe it's just a harbinger of things to come.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Debbie Downer over here.
It's weird, the word nursing is chalked into the asphalt over there. Nursing for some reason.
What's weird is to come to a carnival and not just be looking out like over a mall parking lot.
Instead, we're looking out over a cow pasture.
We really are. It's
I gotta find something to eat or I'm gonna die.
I
Oh, it's over.
know.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. For me. That guy had headphones in just now.
What?
He had headphones in just now while he was
Did he?
working the ride. You think he was listening to my show?
Of course.
He's like, oh, I gotta meet this guy sometime. I'm right here.
Fish pond.
Isn't that funny that like anybody in the world can actually listen to my show?
Do what?
Anybody in the world can listen to my show if they have internet access. President Barack Obama can listen to my show.
I know he has, Michael.
Oh, he's very funny. It's a good show. All right. So how many tickets we got left? What do we got? Like 24 tickets left?
The one, like, this is always my favorite inexplicable attraction. It's like,
Yeah.
we just build a really big slide.
And it's just called the Fun Slide. So yeah, I made the observation that you can buy the tickets in 24.
The Terminator.
Yeah, the Terminator shoot 'em gallery. But I made the observation. That's not the Terminator.
I know.
Wait a second.
No, it is not.
It's a Terminator shooting gallery,
well,
but
it looks like an evil Wall-E.
yeah, it's not. It is. It's Wall-E with like lasers shooting out of its eyes. But yeah, the observation I made though is that you can buy ride tickets for the rides, in sleeves of 24, but all the rides take an odd number of tickets.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep you buying more tickets so you can even out your rides. So you're probably going to go home with like one ticket left.
Well, that's the way it always works.
Yeah.
Although here's the good thing. Look at this. The King Circus takes exactly one ticket. So like that's the last thing you do before you leave the park, leave the carnival.
What do you think the King Circus is?
I think you just walk through like.
Let's go into it.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go in the King Circus. It's kind of. I thought it was a haunted house kind of at first.
No, this one's for kids.
It looks literally like all you do is just kind of walk. What do you do? Okay, so you walk into the car, into the train car. How you doing? Thanks. And we're walking into the King Circus now. Oh, there's one of those fun mirrors. Whoa, I'm really tall. Oh. Oh my gosh. Is that part of the ride where that bridge supposed to be broken? Ow. And we're getting punched by a bunch of bags. Those girls seem to be having a lot of ironic fun. Alright, now we're walking through a bunch of poles with metal poles with cushions around them. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that clown. Now we're walking through a subway station turnstile. There you go. Oh. It's really scary. There's just like a clown's head.
I know.
Severed head sitting behind a pane of glass. And now we're walking through. This is actually kind of a fun. For one ticket, this isn't bad.
I know.
It's kind of like that last X-Men movie for like $1. It wasn't that bad. So.
Wait.
Oh yeah, another subway turnstile that she's. All right. Woo! And you can get on it, spin around. Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm almost done. Hold on. Okay, I'm done. You can have it. Okay.
Michael, you're greedy.
Sorry. All right, well, that wasn't that bad actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh, whoa. Woo.
I was just worried that scary clown was going to pop up.
I know. I mean, I kept on waiting for it to light up and scare me. That's the one thing that this carnival's missing. It's missing a fun house, like a haunted house.
Scary dark ride. Yeah.
I know. I mean, of course, putting one decent dark ride together probably costs more than this whole carnival cost to set up.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
All right, so we spent 6 tickets on the Scrambler Sizzler ride. We spent 6 tickets on the Ferris wheel. 2 tickets on the circus.
Here's what we have.
So we have 10 tickets left.
Yeah.
Okay.
4, 8, 10, 11.
Okay.
We have 11.
Oh,
the
11.
Inexplicable 1 ticket left.
Oh, yeah. How did I do the math wrong on that? 14 plus... Wait.
4,
6 and 6 is 12, plus 2 is
9, 10,
14.
11.
But, yeah, we should only have 10.
What?
That's weird.
Well, those were only 2. I mean, those were 1 apiece.
Yeah, I know.
So 6.
6.
6. So
14.
12, 14. Yeah, that's 11. So we should have 11 left. 25 minus 14 is 11.
No, oh, I thought, for some reason, I thought we got 24 tickets.
25.
Oh, 25. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I was about to say. Shit. Okay.
So yeah, we have 11.
All right. Well, that's cool. It's like getting dark here. Like all the lights are on. That's neat. I like it.
I have the TTs.
Well, there's plenty of bathrooms around.
Oh, God.
Shouldn't have had all that lemonade when we first got here. I told you.
It was delicious. It was worth it, Michael.
Well, we need to go someplace on some ride that's going to scare it right out of you.
Why?
Something like the merry-go-round.
If we go on
Plus the Surf Shack ride.
go on the Amadeus ride, that'll be 8 tickets right there.
You want to go on the Music Express? Well, then we'd be left with 3 tickets.
We'll be left with 3 tickets.
4 tickets, right? Why can't I do math?
8 plus 3 is 11.
Yeah, okay, so I did it right. Well, yeah, so that basically means that we'll only have 1 ride left that we can do.
Yeah.
The Flying Dutchman just looks like...
I don't know.
That's the one where you sit in a big train car and it takes you all the way up and then it floats and then it brings you all the way back down.
Oh, the pirate ride.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it go all the way around yet, though.
No, not that one.
Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Flying Dutchman, not the pirate ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one looks like kind of a headache. I don't know. I don't like my stomach sinking that much. Shut up. How much is the big slide?
Let's go see how much the big fun
So I was saying, if that's 1 ticket, that's just some kind of fun thing we can do for... I kind of feel like we're putting way too much thought into this.
I know. The point of the tickets is to get rid of them fast.
Yeah, I know. If we do the Music Express, then one of us can do the Ferris wheel while the other goes to the bathroom. How's that?
You just want to do the Ferris wheel again.
I kind of do. Well, the first time we were around, I spent half the time scrambling for my headphones. So. Okay, we're going over to like the expo area.
I thought I was going to say what the actual event was.
Yeah. There's a place where you can buy some American and Confederate flags. Honor your heritage. Maybe shouldn't make fun of that in this crowd. Some of these guys look like they can hurt me. Well. Yeah, let's just ride the Music Express and get this over with. Just used an outhouse, which I haven't done since summer camp 20-something years ago. It's not bad as long as you don't see what you're peeing into. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now. And We're at the Enoda campgrounds near the towns of Helen and Hiawassee, Georgia. And it was it's nice. It's kind of one of these impromptu community campgrounds that just sprouts up over a busy holiday weekend, and it's very crowded. But it's peaceful. It's everybody seems to be obeying the rules. Nobody's really loud and obnoxious. The worst part is when we pulled in late yesterday afternoon, and we were surrounded by people at different campsites blasting loud, obnoxious country music out of their pickup trucks, and not really considering the fact that some people don't appreciate that twangy, whiny, horrible, repetitive music. But we were at the same time so consumed with putting up the campsite and just getting settled in that it didn't really bother us that much. I felt a little paranoid because I bought an air mattress for Jessica for this trip, and I had never bought an air mattress before, and I just assumed, pretty easy to set up. You just get an air compressor, which I had, and you just plug it into the valve and flip the switch, and voila, it's toast. And it didn't really quite work that way. And we had to go through like a series of valve fittings to get the right fitting, and it just kind of turned into a big mess that took us about 15 minutes to figure out. And meanwhile, I've kind of got like these people on either side of us, because every time you turn on the air compressor, it just makes this like, like this really loud, obnoxious sound. So I was definitely drawing the attention. We were definitely drawing the attention of kind of some of the guys around us at different campsites. And, at one point I looked over and they were just kind of laughing at us as if to say, that dummy doesn't know how to blow up an air mattress. And I started getting like just really kind of anxious and paranoid about it. Kind of in that way that, you just want to say to them, excuse me, I've never blown up an air mattress before. When I go camping, I camp like a man, I sleep on the ground. I don't even use one of those air pads, I use a rock as my pillow. And the first summer that Jessica and I were dating, we went camping on the beach in Pensacola and forgot a rainfly. And and it decided it was, when we went to bed last night, it was like clear skies, and then that night it decided to just monsoon, and our tent ended up flooding. And in the morning when we were trying to put it up, we had all these people, in their RVs surrounding us, laughing at us. Like, I'm not kidding you, like, just openly laughing at us. Nobody offering to come over and just help or see what the problem was. Just kind of treating us as their morning entertainment while they sat under their canopies in the drizzling rain, drinking their coffee. And it's just like, guys, what you're doing right now isn't really camping. You're sitting in a mobile house right now with all the amenities of home. And, we're actually camping like men. We have nothing, We didn't even bring in a rainfly to protect ourselves from the rain. And It reminded me of that. So, but we got the air mattress blown up, and all of it was okay. So, but finishing up the cigar from last night. Yeah, we stopped along the way in this little town of Blue Ridge, Georgia, and got some lunch, and I found a little cigar shop and got this Alec Bradley cigar, which I've never had. It's an American sun-grown. It's not bad. But I would definitely say, this trip has been pretty cool. The one disappointing aspect is, I wanted to, I know I shouldn't complain. I mean, it's such a luxury to just be able to, afford it and have the time to come on just a weekend trip. There's a kid over there fishing in a pond. And, it's just very, nice that you're able to do something like that. But at the same time, of course, life is fraught with problems, and human beings are very, keen on picking up on them. Morning. So, I mean, what are you going to do but talk about them? If you don't talk about your problems, then they're just going to get bottled up and explode. So, but yeah, the one problem that I've had with this trip is, we wanted to get in the car and kind of come on a tour of rural Georgia. Just see a lot of small towns and see some things off the beaten path. And that was really nice. I was very pleased that we were only on the interstate for a short while before we got off, and we went through a lot of back roads to get where we're going. And we haven't been on the interstate since about 1:30 on Friday afternoon. And but the sad thing is that a lot of the towns that we've been passing in North Georgia are very touristy, because they're quaint and because they're small town. They're really like Gatlinburg, miniature versions of Gatlinburg. These places that have like one main street, and on that main street are just souvenir shops, sweet shops, fudge gourmets, and it overall, I mean, that's just a little disappointing to me. Last night when we got in, when we got that air mattress blown up and the tent set up and everything else, we went to the nearby town of Helen, Georgia. We thought it'd be nice, I'll take Jessica into town and get her a nice dinner for her birthday. And we went, everything was totally okay. We were going over the mountain, and then we came down into it. When we started to hit buildings, all of a sudden there was like the worst traffic jam I have ever seen. I mean, it was epic. It took us about an hour to get a half a mile. I'm not kidding at all. I mean, there were points where we were just like, I would put it in park. It was just completely useless to have the car and drive. And it was all because it was just a 2-lane road leading into Helen. And it stayed 2-lane for the entire time. It was honestly weird. Like, in Gatlinburg, as gaudy and as touristy as it was, they still had like 2 lanes on either side, and they kept the traffic flowing like pretty well. And in Helen, it was really nothing like that. I mean, there were like 2 stoplights in the entire town, and just traffic. I mean, as soon as I got into town and I saw a parking space, I took it, because in we got out of our cars and walked down Main Street, and all the traffic was still just jam-packed and just going in one direction the whole way. We would have never made it through that town if I hadn't gotten out and parked. And I think we parked in the restaurant parking lot, like a restaurant parking lot that we decided not to go to. But fortunately, nobody got out and hassled us. So, morning. But yeah, it was just hell in Georgia was just a nightmare. It was honestly like it took this trip and just sank it down so much. And again, I shouldn't complain. It is very nice just to be in this place you've never been in before. But you know, a place like that, you've got, you know, not only tourists, you know, people who were just in town for a one weekend thing, but you've also got all of the local residents from probably about a 50-mile radius just storming that town and going to its, like, steak and seafood restaurants and going to its, like, Christmas shops for Christmas in July. And it's just... And what makes it even worse is that, you know, and I always hate to judge... But they're just like redneck zombies. They're just like, they have no purpose. Just from looking at them and just walking around. And, you know, again, I just, like, I don't want to be that. I kept on telling myself, you know, last night as I sank further and further into just misery, walking around these people and trying to, like, maneuver my way, because, like, they weren't moving, a lot of them. They would just, like, walk a few feet on the sidewalk. You would be walking behind them, and they would just stop because their eyes would be alerted to something, you know, gross and eye-catching and neon, and they would just stop and stare, you know. It's like just utterly, like, dude, you're alive right now. You have people relying on you to move so that they don't bump into you. Move ahead. And and I just kept on telling myself, like, don't be that guy who is miserable because other people are there. You know, just, these people are not judging you. They don't care about you. They're not making any remarks about you in their brains about how stupid and slow you are, so don't do that to them. But I couldn't help it. It was just, I just couldn't help but be that guy. I mean, these people just were walking around like just nimwits with, like, spiders in their brain. They had this very vague notion that they were alive at that moment, and that they had legs that could walk in a waddle, and they were so freaking just grossly overweight, eating these like disgusting funnel cakes, and I mean, just it was honestly like just the living dead in this town, just wearing these disgusting UFC tap out t-shirts and absolute trailer trash. I mean, I really do not mean to judge or be harsh on these people, because they're just people like I am. They have wants and desires, and they want to be loved. But it's just so hard to love people like this when they're just all storming the same area that you are, and they're all just moving at a snail's pace around, and they're just not conscious of other people around them, and just the way they talk, this just gutter accent, you know. And they can't keep a hold of any of their kids. Their kids are all running around and into the street and just blithely, like, across crosswalks, and they're all running after them, going like, Danny, come back here. Come back. You listen to your daddy. Oh, God. It's even worse because, like, they're all racist. You know, we were walking down the street, and the point where I was just like, I was fed up with it was when some shirtless guy behind the wheel of a Jeep with no doors just flew by us, like, on the side of the street that didn't have any traffic on it. at like 60 miles an hour and just screamed at the top of the lungs, "I hate all Asians." And this is just in this mountain town, this very small little mountain retreat town. It's kind of made up to look like a Swiss alpine village. It's very quaint, but at the same time, you just, And, the sad thing about it is that this was part of the trip I was actually really looking forward to. I mean, I realized it was going to be touristy, and it's a 4th of July weekend holiday, and I totally understand that. On the website, before I left Birmingham, it just, I don't know, it had a picture of just a little horse, and in the background was photoshopped a, little alpine house, and so I got a little excited about that. I was like, okay, that might be nice, a nice place to take Jessica for dinner on, Saturday night. What they didn't put in was like just that redneck guy into that photograph with like a cartoon bubble, like a dialogue bubble coming out of his mouth that said, "I hate all Asians." Yeah, that would have been a little bit more descriptive of what the town was like last night, so... Yeah, last night it took a lot of work to not be negative. From the minute we got into this campground, as a matter of fact, we walked into the lodge where you register, and I saw on there's like when you pull into the campground, there is a there's a little security desk and like a little booth. And there's a sign on the front door that says, "Ask about our breakfast," served every morning at 10 a.m. So I thought, okay, that might actually be nice because we are a little isolated out here. It's about 15 miles to the nearest town. And I had just realized that I forgot my Coleman camping stove, and I'm really disappointed because I can't make coffee, that way. And so... and I thought maybe it might be nice to get up and, walk over to the lodge and get some breakfast and, start the day out right, so. I walked up to the front desk, at the lodge to sign in, and first thing I asked the guy was, "Hey, I noticed that you guys serve breakfast every morning." And he just kind of didn't even look up to me and just said, "No, there is no breakfast." Like, completely computer-generated, calculated, cold, like not even thinking about the fact that they're advertising breakfast on the front booth, and so I didn't really pursue it further. I was like, okay, this guy kind of doesn't really want me here. And as we were signing in, this woman came in behind us, like this other camper, and she walked up to the other girl who was working the front desk and said, "I have a complaint." And I was trying not to pay attention to her because I was too busy kind of checking in and doing my whole thing, but it seems as if, some other campers had like pulled up next to her, and they had 3 cars with them, and they were blocking her space, and they weren't allowing her to pull her car up to her campsite, and she was, like a woman of ethnicity. I guess she was like Hispanic, and she said that they had made some kind of passing racist remark toward her, and it was just like, what is this place? It's aggravating, when you go camping, but it really is just like staying in any kind of resort hotel at a place like this where the tourism industry thrives on camping and getting away from it all. And all it really is just the same old shit, just up in the mountains. And it really is, I would say it's definitely, I don't know, what's a good word for it? It's almost like, it's described as primitive, where you bring your own tent and you bring your own cookery, and, you have to just supply everything. In addition to that, you have to supply your own positivity. It's not guaranteed to you, I guess, Everybody else is going to be in their own bad moods, and they're going to be, you're supposed to leave all that shit behind, when you come out to a place like this. Your bad attitudes and your complaints, and just, kind of let it be, let other people be who they are, and you just be what you are, and just sit by a stream, like I'm sitting right now, and just listening listen to the babbling brook, But it was really tough last night. I had like this great challenge to just kind of get over my negativity of just all these bad experiences kind of colliding all at once. Staying at the bed and breakfast was just a really positive experience. I really enjoyed that whole thing. It was like, yesterday we didn't get out until about 1:30 because we found ourselves just kind of in this dialogue with all the other boarders who were there, just all these other people. There was this really nice family from Atlanta, this young couple from outside of Atlanta, this other couple from who had driven down from Chicago, and we just ended up talking to each of them, for about 20-30 minutes at a time. And the highway was nearby, so there were the traffic sounds, but I mean, we didn't really pay attention to those, and we just sat on the back porch looking out at this like beautiful pasture where there were all these like horses and cows grazing, and it was just no negativity at all. But then we came to this place, which is just a lot more touristy, and it really is just like a hotel without walls. There are people, there's campers on 15 feet on either side of us, and so it was I wouldn't say it's as nice, but we eventually settled down last night when we got from Helen, which took us about an hour and a half to get into, and maybe only about 35 minutes to get out of because traffic was going the other way. We got in and we ended up, setting up a campfire, and which Jessica's always been a lot better at doing campfires than I am. It takes kind of a lot of patience, especially like I bought a bundle of firewood, and because they won't let you collect your own wood from around here because it's a nature preserve and they want you to leave no trace. But nevertheless, whenever you build a fire, you have to like get tinder and stuff, and all the tinder I collected was just like wet, and because we were camping under a tree, and the ground doesn't dry as fast, and I'm guessing it had probably rained here pretty hard, earlier this week. But yeah, Jessica, and I went off. We found some dry tinder, and we just kind of set up the fire, and it took a few minutes to catch, but it ended up, going pretty well. It burned for about 3 hours last night. It was still smoldering by the time we ended up turning in and going to bed. So, really wasn't that bad. I mean, it had its negativity, but I worked very, very hard last night. I gotta say, not to toot my own horn, but I worked very hard last night at trying to maintain a positive attitude, at least for Jessica, and I didn't want to go home, bitter at this whole experience. I mean, as touristy as this place is, as gaudy as it is, we're still up in the mountains, and the campsite is still promising most of what it promised, or it's still exhibiting most of what it promised on the website, so it's, I could ask for worse. I could. We're trying to figure out what to do today. I think we know that we're not going to go into Helen. I think that's one thing, because we wanted to go tubing down the river today, which you have to do in Helen. And we saw that last night, and it looked nice, but, I don't know if we're going to want to endure the same experience of just traffic that we had to last night. But nearby is the town of Hiawassee, which is also supposed to be a little touristy, but it's also a little bit more not so, I guess. It's a big hiking community. Like the Appalachian Trail passes right through there. It's actually one of the towns that was talked about in my favorite book, A Walk in the Woods, the Bill Bryson book. They stop there and have lunch at the Hiawassee Inn. So I kind of think we may go there today if there's anything fun to do in that town, at least to eat, I guess. So, but actually, from this campground, I read that you can walk to the Appalachian Trail, so I kind of wanted to walk up there. And there's also some waterfalls you can check out. So, but yeah, positivity. You just got to just put all that touristy shit out of your mind and just provide your own high, your own buzz, I guess. I'm going to finish this cigar. All right. I'll see you later.